Welcome to another HoloNet news episode from the Infernal Brotherhood of the Scruffy Looking Nerf Herders. My name is Adam, and today is November 18th, 2025, and today's Star Wars news includes Star Wars reviving the Acolyte, Djarin has changed his priorities, the Star Wars movie everyone wants to see, and we'll take a look at the Star Wars news page. So let's get into it. Okay. Well, I hope everyone had a fantastic Wookiee Life Day. That was yesterday. I put up a little video on social media, and if you want to look in our past archives, we actually have a whole lot of Wookiee Life Day type content, but we actually have a live watch party for Wookiee Life Day. We had our friend Colin over at our buddy Cameron's place, and we were just watching the original, and it's a little bit of like shock and awe because the original is hard to watch. Hard. Cameron did celebrate yesterday. He actually sent me a bunch of photos from his celebration, which was awesome. Now, I am in the process of trying to access all of the old websites' blogs so I can get those up on my current website where I'm hosting all of the content here. So look for that. Once it's ready, I'll post it in social media and stuff so you can check it out. But yeah, let's get to the news. Star Wars revives the Acolyte with an exciting new release. This is a bit of a bait and switch because it is not what you think. Thankfully, it's not what you think. All right. Disney and Star Wars have remarkably just dropped the most epic Acolyte release, despite the series having been canceled over a year ago. In celebration of the Star Wars Holiday Specials Life Day, a whole new batch of Star Wars projects has been released at Disney Parks' Galaxy Edge, as well as online. This includes one of the coolest Acolyte collectibles we've ever seen. As of November 17th, Star Wars fans can visit Shop Disney to purchase a limited edition copy of the Stranger's Legacy lightsaber set, inspired by the sinister weapon wielded by Manny Jacinto's Chimere, aka The Stranger. This new lightsaber features multiple accessories while also coming in a special box inspired by what looks to be the Stranger's iconic Cortosis helmet and gauntlets. So, let's check this out, shall we? I think lightsabers are awesome. I have Vader's lightsaber as that, they have those Black Series reproductions. And that's what I've got. I wouldn't ever get one from like some rando character in some shit series though, myself. But they do look cool. And with the LED lights that they have nowadays, they can really make them look awesome once they're ignited. And I really do like how they come with the stands and, everything so you can actually put them on display in really cool ways. But it is interesting, like customizing your lightsaber has been part of Star Wars video games all the way back to Star Wars Jedi Knight. Not Mysteries of the Sith, but Jedi Knight 2, I think it's Outcast. And I think you could like customize your lightsaber there if memory serves. But I know in modern release video games, you could always customize your lightsabers there as well. I always think it's kind of fun. If you're given the reins at Disney to produce any Star Wars TV show you want, what would you make? For you, it would be a KOTOR show with Revan. That would be awesome. Chris, thanks for tuning in, by the way. Yeah, Revan one would be awesome. I still want to do the Red Harvest Death Troopers. I think that would make a really great 2-season series. And then I would love to explore the Witches of Dathomir a little bit more. I think there's a lot of storytelling there to be had that could be very, very interesting. And then in addition to the Witches of Dathomir, I would really like to do a Dawn of the Jedi. I'm doing all of the holocron lore videos right now of the Dawn of the Jedi era. And I just think it's a really exciting time. And then move on to Tales of the Jedi. And then from Tales of the Jedi, move on to the Old Republic like you're talking about. So I think those are really great places to start. But yeah, just looking at this, I think it looks good. You know? Okay. Priced at $325. I take it back, it doesn't look good anymore. The Stranger's Legacy lightsaber set is quite the impressive Star Wars collectible, particularly due to its unique features inspired by the Acolyte series. In the Acolyte Episode 5, Chimere splits his weapon into two unique blades, revealing a Shoto-style dagger he mercilessly used to gain the upper hand against the force of Jedi Knights he dueled on the planet Kofar. Remarkably, Disney's newest Legacy lightsaber can also be split into two weapons. The box set also comes with a unique 17-inch blade Shoto blade alongside a more traditional blade length for the other half, 31 inches. Combined with its own display stand, the Stranger's Legacy lightsaber box set feels like a must-have for both Acolyte fans and lightsaber enthusiasts in general. And I'm stoked that fans who liked the Acolyte are going to get this type of merch from it. It's just really not for me. After the Acolyte's cancellation, will Star Wars ever continue Chimere's story? Although the Acolyte was canceled by Disney over a year ago, there are still some big hopes, by some, I'll say, that the Stranger story might continue in some fashion, whether it's a spin-off series, a movie, or even on the page of the novel or comic. The Stranger's future deserves to be explored further. I'm not so sure about that. This is certainly true after it recently confirmed that the Acolyte intentionally had clues teasing that Chimere would have eventually been revealed as the first Ren, founder of the Knights of Ren, that would one day come to be led by a corrupted Ben Solo during the sequels. At any rate, it's pretty cool to see the new Acolyte collectibles are still being released, particularly today with the Stranger's lightsaber. Not only will it display nicely with the Stranger's Black Series helmet from Hasbro, but also Master Saul's Legacy saber, which was released earlier this year for May the 4th. All right. No, I don't think... I'm sure they'll put it in a comic series, because that's sort of where all the stories that hardly anyone else pays attention to, but for fans who really want it, will pay attention to, that's where those stories go traditionally. And because this is such a small audience that actually liked the Acolyte, and of that small audience, the comic series seems to be like the perfect avenue rather than an actual novel release, which wouldn't sell very well in the first place. So if they did anything, it would be a limited comic run, maybe of 4 issues, with a lot of time jumps in between. But I just don't see it ever happening because, again, we have to remember, as much as some people like it, and clearly the author of this article really liked it, the vast majority of human beings on this planet who actually tried to watch it did not like it. And that's just a fact. So when you're talking about a corporate business, it's always about how are they going to make the most profit out of the projects that they're producing, and this is not one of them. So, in any case, I do like that they're releasing the merch because that's always fun for Star Wars fans. Whether you really liked a particular character in a series that didn't really perform well, or whether you like different aspects of a film that maybe didn't turn out the way you wanted it to, like me, for example, with the sequel trilogy, there's still aspects of it that are fun and intriguing for fans. And so you can always sort of go into it with little elements. Like I would really like to see that Jedi Wookiee a little bit more that was in the Acolyte. Maybe as like a Black Series figure. I'm sure it already exists. Or, their lightsaber to learn a little bit more about them. I think that's kind of cool. But look, for $325, that thing better be able to cut your sandwiches in half. People are willing to pay that stuff, for an official replica. And there's a whole bunch of different, like Theory Sabers, for example. They have versions of lightsabers that are sort of knockoff and custom designs that I believe are a little bit more affordable than this. And so if you don't want the official Disney version, then you can go for other versions and get customized versions of sabers and stuff from aftermarket deals. So it's pretty cool. All right, let's move on to the next article here. Oh, so let me know really quick. Let me know if you guys think the Acolyte deserves merchandise, what you think of this lightsaber series. You can put your thoughts in the comments below. I really do appreciate it if you try to do that. All right. Next article, this is from Empire Online. The Mandalorian and Grogu Din Djarin, quote, has changed his priorities as he tackles his biggest mission. For years, the Mandalorian was a lone ranger, a solo gunslinger, and then everything changed. He met Grogu, aka Baby Yoda, defied his code, fought the Imperial Remnant, and helped Bo-Katan reclaim Mandalore. Now, he and his adopted son are headed to the big screen and making good on his promise to aid the New Republic in their efforts. With The Mandalorian and Grogu, two of the most beloved characters in the latest generation of Star Wars stories, are finally going cinematic with a bigger mission than ever before as Din Djarin teams up with the former rebels on a Delphi base. Quote, The Mandalorian has changed his priorities, director Jon Favreau tells Empire of where Djarin is at this point. One of the last things we say in season 3 is, like, I don't want to go out there and just be a hired gun. I want to work for the good guys. That means receiving work from Sigourney Weaver's Colonel Ward and working with Zeb Orrelios, the fan favorite Lasat from Star Wars Rebels, briefly seen in Mando Season 3. Now we get to really have fun with him, promises Favreau. He's such a compelling character, even if you've never seen Rebels, between the voice, the swagger, and the physical ability. And just as a note on that, I thought Zeb was a great character. He was the original design for Chewbacca from the original artwork that was put out there, which that's what I really loved about Star Wars Rebels, is they went all the way back to the original concept art for Star Wars and really leaned into it for character design, especially when it comes to like Vader, for example. There's a lot of really great Vader scenes in Star Wars Rebels. And if you haven't seen it, you really should go back and revisit that series because it has a lot of deep lore drops and presents some things that are potentially lore breaking, like the World Between Worlds at the end of season 4. So definitely go check that out if you haven't yet. And Zeb, he's just a straight up tell it how he sees it scoundrel. You know, he's a lot of fun as far as a character, and he's huge. And so he can handle those big brawling moments that you really, really need and you'd love to see. I didn't know that Sigourney Weaver was going to be a part of the rebels or the former rebels that are trying to bring in a new republic, but it makes sense that she would, being that Din Djarin is being hired by the New Republic to go do something. So I do like that he's going to be teaming up not just with Grogu, but with Zeb Orrelios and, of course, with Jabba the Hutt's grown son. All right. The focus, though, as Din Djarin and Grogu anchor the first Star Wars film in 7 years since 2019's Rise of Skywalker, is on our two heroes. The central relationship as they go off and face adventure together, that's the underpinning of the film. The central relationship as they go off and face adventure together, that's the underpinning of the film. So the underpinning of the film is Din Djarin and Grogu's relationship. We already know they have a great relationship. We watched seasons, plural, of them developing a relationship. We don't need you to convince us they have a good relationship. The end of season 3 shows them just sort of kicking back. All right. Star Wars is always about having progression and growth and characters evolving, sometimes for the good, sometimes for the bad. It's about apprenticeship. It's about one generation teaching the next. There's more growth that happens over the course of the film. Adventure awaits. So I think it's clearly that Din Djarin is going to be teaching Grogu about how to be a good bounty hunter. I mean, really, I think that's what the central core is. It's bummed that Carl Weathers passed before the movie could be made. Yeah, he was great. Carl Weathers was great in the Mandalorian series. And he directed some really great episodes as well. You know, he was a really fun actor and a good dude. As far as I knew, I didn't really look into his personal life or anything, but I liked what he brought to the show. And you can read the full Mandalorian and Grogu story in the Odyssey issue on sale Thursday, 20th of December. and then you can pre-order it online. So apparently in this Empire magazine, there's going to be a whole bunch of really interesting Mandalorian and Grogu information. So I'll have to report on that once it's been released. But I am sort of looking forward to this, you know? I wasn't originally. I was like, well, it's just a Mandalorian series. But the more news I hear about it, the more little leak drop bits that are being put out there, while I'm not like chomping at the bit as I would for like, you know, the prequel series or the original trilogy, I am pleasantly surprised about how interested I'm finding myself. Because look, I'm sort of thinking of it in terms of it's like a video game release, you know? I'll play a couple hours of it. I may not be able to get through the whole thing because I just don't have the time, but I'm certainly looking forward to trying it. And that's kind of how I see the Mandalorian Grogu film. I'm looking forward to sitting down for a couple hours and watching it and then talking about it and having fun pontificating and speculating and all that good stuff, because that's what we love to do about Star Wars movies, is speculate. What does this mean? What does that character mean? How is it going to impact the greater story moving forward? Where does it connect in the timeline? And if it's in this point in the timeline, what is everyone else at this point doing? And all sorts of stuff like that, just like every other Star Wars fan. And that's why we love this, because it's a living universe. It's a universe that has been built out, that it exists. And while I do not really like the direction that Disney has taken it, they are pulling story beats continuously from EU, Extended Universe story bits. And those are the ones that I love. They're now considered legacy by Disney. So are you looking forward to The Mandalorian and Grogu in film, in theaters? And, do you think that this change in priority is going to affect Din Djarin as he goes forward and tries to help the old Rebel Alliance and the new Republic? And how do you think Zeb is going to be playing into this? Is he just going to be a pilot taking them around the galaxy? Or is he actually going to be like scrapping like we saw in the actual Rebels TV series? Let me know your thoughts. You're going to see it day one with your son. This will be a perfect father-son movie. You do think it'll struggle in the box office. It'll put off casual fans compared to the main 9 movies. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, the reality is my mom and my dad watched The Mandalorian because of Grogu, because of Baby Yoda. They actually started watching it season 2, and then they were sort of using it as a bridge to connect with me. Because we don't really have the greatest of relationships. But that's something that we could always sort of talk about when it was running. And it's just one of those family type shows where I grew up with Star Wars. They knew I always loved Star Wars. And so they see this as a sort of gateway. This is a great way to bring relationships back together. Again, it's not going to be for everyone because not everyone saw Rebels. Not everyone cares about The Mandalorian. They just want to see big Star Wars films on the big screen. And because it's been 7 years, if this can really hit, it might be the one show that will bring people back to Star Wars. Now, I think for those who have shook off Star Wars in the Disney era, I don't think they're going to be coming back. They may watch it to deadpan it online, and there's going to be an incredible amount of YouTube channels that are just devoted to shit-talking Star Wars and shit-talking everything that they do. We can't change that. And sometimes I do that because it's my opinion, but I don't base the channel around that like a lot of other channels are. And so instead, I'm going to give you my honest reflection on the actual show and the beats in it. I'll tell you what I like about it, and I'll tell you what I don't like about it. And that's the way I think everyone should be doing. Honest evaluations, not just trying to make money on clickbait shit talking. I hate people who do that. I cannot stand it. You have such affection for season 1 of The Mandalorian. It was a time starting the pandemic when everyone was watching and talking about it. I totally agree with you on that. I thought it was great. All right, so let me know what you think about The Mandalorian and Grogu in comments. Let's move on to the next article here. Disney can release the Star Wars movie everyone wants to see. That's right, they can. It is incredibly exciting time for Star Wars on the big screen. After 7 years with no theatrical release, a galaxy far, far away is finally headed back to cinemas with The Mandalorian and Grogu arriving in 2026. The long wait has created a sense of anticipation not felt since the build-up to the sequel trilogy. I don't think it's that big. And the excitement continues to grow. I think that's a little bit of hyperbole there. The hype is only intensifying thanks to the lineup of planned and rumored movies that may follow. Disney is developing multiple projects while fans rally behind the idea of Ben's solo movie that explores the rise of Kylo Ren, Adam Driver. A film chronicling his transformation would certainly generate plenty of attention, but it still isn't the most in-demand Star Wars movie out there. Long before petitions for a canceled Ben Solo movie began circulating, fans were demanding something else entirely: a re-release of the unaltered theatrical cuts of the original trilogy. With a major Star Wars anniversary on the horizon, Disney finally has the perfect opportunity to make that long-standing fan dream a reality. 2027 is the perfect opportunity for Disney to re-release the original cut of Star Wars, and fans have been waiting decades for the saga's biggest anniversary. 2027 marks the 50th anniversary of the original release of A New Hope, back when it premiered simply as Star Wars in 1977. That milestone places Disney in a unique position. Few films in history command the legacy, cultural weight, and cinematic influence of Star Wars, and no anniversary is better suited for honoring the movie that started it all. I will be 50 on the 50th anniversary of Star Wars. How wild is that? Celebrating the 50-year mark with the original theatrical cut would be a definitive acknowledgement of the franchise's roots. Those early prints didn't just launch a blockbuster saga, they redefined what blockbusters could be. The original Star Wars changed filmmaking, special effects, sound design, and movie merchandising forever. Recognizing that legacy means celebrating the film in its authentic, historically significant form. While the special edition and subsequent digital alterations had their supporters, there's no denying that many fans want to revisit the movies as the world first experienced it. The original 1977 cut represents a moment in cinema before CGI-enhanced dewbacks, revised scenes, altered dialogue, or a digitally inserted Jabba the Hutt. Those changes reflect evolving technology, but they also mask the practical ingenuity that shaped the film's identity. The 50th anniversary provides a clear, unmissable opportunity for Disney to restore and re-release the theatrical version. Not only would it honor George Lucas's groundbreaking achievement, but it would also serve as a celebration of cinematic history. This would merely be a nostalgia-driven gesture. It wouldn't. It would be a recognition of Star Wars as a transformative cultural moment. A theatrical re-release in 2027 could also create the kind of event-level excitement that modern blockbusters strive to capture. Screening the original version in theaters, fully remastered yet unchanged in content, would all allow audiences to reconnect with the movie that redefined science fiction. Many longtime fans never had a chance to see the unaltered version on the big screen, and newer fans hadn't had legal access to it in decades. Star Wars fans deserve to see the restored version of the original trilogy. Half a century later, the Star Wars community has earned the chance to experience history as it truly was. Over almost 50 years, the Star Wars fandom has grown into one of the most passionate and engaged audiences in entertainment. Fans have embraced every era of the franchise, from the original trilogy to the prequels, sequels, and Disney Plus shows like The Mandalorian and Ahsoka. Throughout all that growth, their enthusiasm for the original trilogy has never diminished. What has diminished, however, is access to the unaltered versions of those films. Fans have watched countless revisions of the trilogy over the years, especially A New Hope, which has seen more alterations than almost any major movie in history. While these updates have historical relevance of their own, they don't replace the importance of preserving the theatrical versions. The original Star Wars theatrical cuts represent a turning point in cinema. They show the pioneering model work, matte paintings, tactile creatures, and groundbreaking practical effects that changed the industry. Altered versions, while interesting, layer modern digital tools over moments that were originally achieved through optical compositing and creativity under technological limitations. For longtime fans, this piece of Star Wars history matters. Many saw the originals in theaters, on VHS tapes, or during early TV broadcasts. Others grew up hearing about the versions that no longer circulate legally. The desire to see these films as they were isn't nostalgia. It's about representing the craft that shaped the franchise. Restoring and re-releasing the originals would let fans experience Star Wars as a piece of film heritage, not just as continually updated blockbuster. Movie lovers regularly celebrate restored classics like Metropolis, The Wizard of Oz, and Lawrence of Arabia. The original Star Wars trilogy deserves the same treatment, especially given its impact. With a restoration, fans wouldn't just gain access, they'd gain context. Being able to evaluate the original films alongside the special editions would help audiences better appreciate the evolution of Star Wars and understand why the franchise became an industry-shifting phenomenon. After 5 decades of loyalty, excitement, and active participation in the saga's every twist, Star Wars fans have more than earned the opportunity to see original, restored, preserved, and celebrated. I would 100% watch this. And look, I already have a digital of the original unaltered version, but I would love to see it on the big screen. Give me a massive screen of remastered imagery. I would eat it up. I would see all of them. I'd probably see it a couple times because let's be honest, I was born in 77, so I never saw the original Star Wars in theaters. I did see Return of the Jedi in theaters, but I didn't even see Empire Strikes Back or the original Star Wars until the re-releases that were the special edition versions in theaters. And that's not good enough. Han shot first, people. You love the article, agree 100%. You love to see the original version again. Yeah. And introduce. Look, I've watched Star Wars as the symphony performed the score live, which is amazing. Now I just need to see the original cut live. I think it'd be awesome. And this just goes on to continuously talk about how making the version available would add layers and view experiences and stuff. This looks a lot like ChatGPT to me, and just AI repeating over and over again the same points. But the point stands. Disney can release this Star Wars cut that everyone wants, the original unaltered version. They have the film, and I've actually heard rumors that they are actually restoring it. So 2027 would be the perfect time. 50 years later, here's the original version that you can see once again in theaters that was shown 50 years ago. Hell yes. Oh my gosh, I would go to that. That would be so amazing. It would bring so many people to the theater. So many people who are fans that have never seen the original cut, only the special editions. Oh, and then make them available for sale, maybe on the same day or maybe, after the theater run. Like, people would definitely rebuy copies of it. Both digital and Blu-ray and VHS, make the VHS ones available. The original Laserdisc if you want to, because there's still fans of those different formats, especially VHS. It's making a big, just like records, making a big comeback in the, last decade, that people have just started to love this era of films. It's great. Let's do it. So would you go to the theater and watch? Let me know in the comments below. And I mean, even if you didn't necessarily like Star Wars, the original film, as much as some of the other ones, what is one of the original trilogy films that you would love to see unaltered in the theater with a fresh, new, cleaned up edition? Without, just as it was originally put out there. Is it Empire? Is it Return? Or is it Star Wars: A New Hope? Let me know in the comments. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this HoloNet news episode. That is going to do it for this issue. And again, actually, you know what? Let's get back in here because there's still some more stuff I want to do. We haven't even looked at the Star Wars news desk. So let's do that really quick. Most of this stuff, not a whole lot of interesting. Let's look at the holiday gift guide. Part of being a kid, and you would get these catalogs from retail companies like Sears or whatever. And you would flip through the catalogs and you would look at all the Star Wars toys. Or I would. These gift guides are similar to that. So let's look at the holiday gift guide. The holidays are coming up. If you're not already shopping for the holidays, if that's something that you do, now's the time to start thinking about it and definitely budgeting for it. So let's see. Doug Chiang, The Star Wars Legacy. Okay, I might actually have to get this. I have Star Wars art books out the yin yang. I have the original collection in a box set like this of the original Star Wars concept art, and it's multiple volumes and it's beautiful. And Doug Chiang has been there from the beginning. You know, he sort of picked up the lightsaber, as it were. Oh wow. He did all sorts of stuff for the prequel trilogy and everything since. And look, let's not pretend he's not amazing. Because he is. Oh, I was hoping there would be inset images, but I'm not seeing anything. Dang it. Okay, well, what can you do? I might actually have to get this. I'll wait until it's been out for a little bit so it's a little less expensive. But yeah, I think that would be dope because his artwork, look at this. I mean, it's just beautiful. Heck yeah. All right, what's this? The Billen Skull Legacy Lightsaber. Balin's Skull, and that's from Ahsoka. He was a really cool character, but I don't care about his lightsaber. But for those who do, you know, that's awesome that they have it. What's this? Star Wars Unlimited Intro Battle Hoth by Fantasy Flight Games. I don't understand what's going on with the Star Wars role-playing game nowadays. They have a card game, a role-playing game, and a little minifigure space combat game. And I'm sure there's all sorts of other games that I don't know about that Fantasy Flight Games has been releasing. But if I wanted to play the most current edition of Star Wars role-playing game, they don't even use regular dice. They have different types of dice. And so it's not even the traditional TTRPG that you would be used to, that you would explore. And that's a little bit frustrating for a TTRPG fan. Like, I played the West End Games D6 version. I'm going to be playing the second edition of that, and then I'm going to be moving into, if memory serves, the next Star Wars edition. I think there might have been a game version in between, but there's also the Wizards of the Coast Saga system game of Star Wars, which was loosely based on the 4th edition Dungeons and Dragons game mechanics. I played the shit out of that, and it's a lot of fun. And I would love to do some live actual plays of that edition as well. So I really want to start doing those TTRPG games again. I just have to find time. And I'd love to play the newest edition if I could wrap my brain around what it is, because there's so many different editions and versions. All right, so what's this? Funko Pops. I've never been into Funko Pops. I don't understand why people like Funko Pops. It's beyond me, but it's awesome that they're there. I thought that stuff already existed. Let the Wookiee win ornament. That's pretty funny. That's fun. Pajamas. Holiday. Do you guys do holiday PJs? Let me know in the comments. My family has always done not holiday necessarily PJs, but every Christmas Eve, we have one unwrapping of a present, and it's always the pajamas. We always get new pajamas every Christmas holiday season. And I've never done Star Wars ones. Maybe I'll do that. I'll force everyone to get Star Wars pajamas. I'm sure they'll appreciate it. The Black Series Astromech Droid Holiday Edition. Yeah, that's not for me, but that's cool. Star Wars inspired collection by Quiche. I actually have bed sheets. Star Wars bed sheets. I do. That's the type of man I am. Brick built Star Wars logo building set by Lego. I've never understood Star Wars Lego toys either. I got to be honest with you. I don't care. I'm just not interested. Empire and Rebel Lion Chief freight sets. I've never been into trains either, but for those who are, this is kind of neat. Got Bosk right up there. Empire Strikes Back. That's cool. Stormtrooper mini backpack. Mini backpacks were huge in the 90s and all the way up into the early 2000s. I don't know that they're still a thing anymore, so I guess they must be if they're selling them, but I don't know. Star Wars sunglasses. What makes them Star Wars? Just that tiny little sticker on the corner? That's not enough. Got to give me more. Well, that's rough. Look at that. Darth Vader Jacquard. So it's like a fleece jacket type thing. It's kind of cool, but I'd never wear it. Star Wars Outlaws, continuing the fun this season with Outlaws available now on Nintendo 2. I am going to do a live playthrough of this. I just have to wait a little bit before I buy it. But it's coming because I want to try it. It looks cool to me. I don't know why people deadpanned it all the time. All right, so that is the gift sets. Is any of this stand out to you guys? Let me know in the comments what type of gift you would want to get if you could buy one today. Yeah, I don't know. This is what I would be getting 100%. And I will be picking this up because this is just beautiful artwork. So right now it's looking at $275. I will wait until it goes down in price, but I will definitely be getting it because Doug Chiang has great work. Very cool. I got there's a collection of Star Wars comic art, and it's basically like the cover art of a bunch of different comic series and stuff, but it's beautiful. Just stunning artwork in that collection. All I have to do, you know what I might have to do, is a series of just flip through books, just flip throughs, I guess I'll call it. And it'll just be me showcasing all of the art books that I have and just flipping page by page through them. No commentary, no nothing, just showing the book itself so that people can get an idea of what the book is about. Because I've got a lot of art books for Star Wars, and I think it would be kind of fun to look through them, you know? I've even got some old ones of like the tech series of the equipment and the starships and stuff like that and the robots and stuff. So I think it'd be kind of fun to just have a little video walkthrough of all of those. Anyway, let me know what you think. All right, that is, in fact, going to do it. That's all the Star Wars news on my desk. Thank you for tuning into this HoloNet news broadcast. If you enjoy it, be sure to like, comment below with your thoughts, and subscribe so you'll catch the next episode where we'll explore more Star Wars news. You can always support this YouTube channel by becoming a member or a Patreon patron. Links are in the description below. Thank you, creator patron Aaron Hardy and developer patron Chris Androu. Thank you for watching, and until next time, my fellow scruffy-looking Nerf Herders, may the Force be with you.